Understanding market dynamics is crucial for businesses aiming to navigate the modern competitive environment. Market dynamics refer to the various forces that impact the availability and demand for goods and services within an industry, ultimately influencing prices, consumer behavior, and business strategies. Section 1. Key components of market dynamics: supply and demand. Supply refers to the quantity of a good or service offered for sale, whereas demand describes the desire of potential purchasers to own it, backed by their purchasing power. This fundamental principle dictates how prices are set in a free market. For instance, when demand for a product exceeds supply, prices tend to rise as customers are prepared to pay extra for the goods. Conversely, if supply exceeds demand, prices may fall, encouraging more purchases and balancing the market. Technological innovations. Technological innovations can dramatically alter market dynamics by changing how products are made, delivered, and consumed. Innovations can lead to developing new products, reducing production costs, or even creating entirely new markets. For example, the advent of the internet and digital technology has transformed the retail industry by introducing e-commerce and shifting consumer shopping habits from physical stores to online platforms. Due to this change, conventional shops must modify their strategies by embracing online sales or enhancing in-store experiences to retain customers. Economic factors. Economic factors such as interest rates, inflation, and economic growth impact consumer purchasing power and investment in business. Customers typically spend more money when the economy grows freely, increasing demand for goods and services. However, in times of economic downturn, as seen during the global financial crises, leading businesses to adjust by reducing costs and prices. Government policies and regulations. Government policies and regulations can also significantly influence market dynamics. Regulations can open up new markets, restrict access to markets, or even create barriers to entry through licensing requirements and tariffs. Changes in trade policies, for example, can affect global supply chains, impacting the cost and availability of goods. Competitor actions. Competitor actions are another critical factor in market dynamics. Companies are not operating in a vacuum. They constantly interact with and react to the actions of their competitors. A new product launched by one company can lead to price adjustments, promotional campaigns, or competitors' introduction of new products in response. Companies must understand competitive actions to position themselves effectively in the market. Consumer preferences and trends. Shifts in consumer preferences and trends can drastically affect market dynamics. To stay relevant, businesses must continue to monitor shifts in consumer behavior. For example, the market for sustainable and environmentally friendly products has grown due to increased awareness of environmental challenges. Companies that have recognized and capitalized on this trend have managed to enhance their brand reputation and command premium prices for their products. Section 2. Impact on economic growth and stability. Economic growth. Economic growth is typically measured by the rise in a country's production of commodities and services, represented as the gross domestic product. GDP growth is driven by factors such as capital investment, technological advancements, and workforce expansion. Substantial investments in infrastructure, technology, and factories boost productivity by enabling more efficient production processes and innovation. Stability refers to the absence of excessive fluctuations in the overall economy, characterized by steady growth, minimal inflation, and low unemployment rates. Stability is crucial for creating a conducive environment for business operations and improving the population's living standards. For these investments to occur, there must be a stable financial environment. Investors typically look for markets that promise high returns, reliability, and minimal risk of instability. Governmental policies. Governmental initiatives are crucial in determining economic growth and stability. Effective fiscal and monetary policies can stimulate growth by increasing spending and reducing interest rates, making borrowing cheaper for businesses and consumers. For example, governments might increase spending on public projects during economic downturns to boost employment and inject money into the economy. Conversely, to curb inflation during boom periods, policies could be adjusted to tighten the money supply. These adjustments are crucial for maintaining economic stability, preventing the economy from overheating, and avoiding market crashes. Trade is another significant factor affecting economic growth. By opening up to international markets, countries can concentrate on offering goods and services with a competitive advantage and trade them for what they need. This maximizes efficiency and output and fosters international cooperation and stability. However, trade can also lead to dependency on global markets, which might introduce volatility, especially from external shocks like global recessions or political conflicts that disrupt trade routes. Innovation is increasingly recognized as a critical component of economic growth. Economies that foster innovation through education, research and development support, and intellectual property protection tend to experience more rapid growth. Innovative enterprises contribute significantly to economic output, develop new products and services that open up markets, and enhance competitiveness on a global scale. However, the benefits of innovation are not automatic. They require a stable environment where businesses can predict market conditions and feel secure in their long-term investments. Demographic changes. Demographic changes also impact economic growth and stability. Aging populations in many developed countries pose challenges to maintaining economic growth as the workforce shrinks and pension costs rise. Younger populations in developing nations can fuel growth if well educated and effectively integrated into the economy. Managing these demographic shifts requires careful planning and policy adjustments to support sustainable development and ensure economic stability. Sustainability. Lastly, the sustainability of natural resources is crucial for long-term economic growth and stability. Overexploitation of resources can lead to shortages and financial crises. Section 3. Case Studies. Economic impact in different regions. South Korea's remarkable rise from post-WT poverty to a leading global economy highlights the importance of strategic investments. Initially one of East Asia's poorest nations, South Korea prioritized education and technology to build a highly skilled workforce. Government policies supported key industries like electronics and automotive manufacturing, driving rapid industrialization. Significant investments in infrastructure further enabled its export-oriented economy, fostering sustained growth and improving living standards. The country's focus on technological innovation remains central to its continued success. Despite its status as Africa's largest economy and rich natural resources, Nigeria faces persistent economic challenges. Its reliance on oil exports has made the economy vulnerable to fluctuating oil prices, leading to financial crises. Political instability, corruption, and inadequate infrastructure have hindered diversification efforts. However, Nigeria's burgeoning tech industry, particularly in cities like Lagos and Abuja, presents a path towards sustainable growth. If supported by robust policies and investment in critical sectors, Nigeria could overcome its dependence on oil and realize broader economic development. Norway has effectively managed its oil wealth by channeling revenues into the world's largest sovereign wealth fund. This approach has stabilized the economy, funded extensive welfare programs, and preserved resources for future generations, demonstrating the importance of long-term planning and fiscal prudence. Chile's commitment to free trade, open markets, and strong legal frameworks has attracted foreign investment and boosted exports. Over the last 3 decades, these policies have driven substantial growth and poverty reduction, making Chile a model of economic success in Latin America. Germany. Post-reunification, Germany faced significant disparities between the economies of East and West. Through large-scale investments in infrastructure and development, the government has made substantial progress toward economic convergence, offering valuable lessons on overcoming regional inequality. Understanding market dynamics, economic growth and stability, and analyzing regional case studies offers a comprehensive view of the complex economic landscape. Businesses and policymakers that effectively interpret and adapt to these dynamics are better positioned to thrive and foster sustainable economic development. Strategic planning, continuous market research, and agility in operations are critical for companies to respond effectively to the ever-changing market conditions. By learning from diverse regional experiences, we can develop tailored economic strategies that leverage local strengths and address specific challenges, paving the way for long-term prosperity and stability.